welcome the members of the Augsburg College Athletic Hall of Fame, the 2013 Athletic Hall of Fame inductees, Distinguished Service Award winners, and the Excellent in Coaching Award winners. Congratulations to you all. Please take your seats and we'll begin our program.
3, 2, 1.
It all begins with a moment.
For this moment.
Integrity.
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 Integrity defines a true athlete.
It isn't something you can see, though.
It's a feeling, a mindset.
Integrity
Determines
The choices you make,
moment to moment. It shows that you are steadfast in
your beliefs.
that you honor the trust your team has in you.
It is integrity that unites.
this team.
My team,
On and off the ice.
The court, the field.
the pool.
And it all comes down to a moment.
To me. I bleed Augie colors.
You define dedication through your actions.
Pushing through obstacles. Ignoring that little voice that says, I can do this tomorrow.
But that doesn't mean you're done.
Sure, there's a finish line.
A buzzer that
Says time's up, game's over.
You keep going past that moment.
Past that moment.
Because you're a part of something bigger.
bigger than just you.
This team, this school, this way of life.
And that is better than magic.
It is fuel for our dreams. For this moment.
We are Augie. We are Augie.
We are Augies.
We are Augie.
The definition of heart
It's more easily shown than spoken.
You play because you love this game.
because your team is your family.
And your school is your home.
I bleed.
You bleed Augie colors.
You bleed Augie colors.
You bleed Augie colors.
You bleed Augie colors.
Pain is a speed bump you roll over.
Heart lets you beat your personal best
In the snow.
It's what lets you play just as hard in double overtime
As the moment the puck is dropped.
And in that moment, when you get knocked down,
It's what makes you get back up and keep moving forward.
Train for this moment.
We have power.
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 It's physical.
It's physical. It's physical. You feel it when every muscle works to lift that bar again.
You taste it in sweat.
And blood and tears.
Power is our mindset. You tell yourself, go, get stronger.
Explode.
You tell yourself this because when the moment comes,
And you hear the bat crack. Everything you have is behind it.
Power prevails in that moment.
And that's how you win.
We are Augies.
We are Augies.
We live for success.
Strive for success.
Prepare for success.
It's our focus.
But we aren't defined by a desire to win.
We aren't defined by a scoreboard or a season.
We want to be the best.
Because excellence is our tradition.
Soul of each competition.
Our goal is to succeed in each moment.
That is what defines our performance.
It defines how we move.
How we sweat.
In the pool.
On the diamond.
On this court,
In the classroom.
when the world sleeps,
We work.
when others rest,
We lift.
We are disciplined.
We are sacrifice.
We are believed. This is our time.
And we are ready. And when that moment arrives,
We seize it.
and make it ours.
We live for the moment!
Because each one defines us.
moment by moment.
We make our future.
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 Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Augsburg Athletic Director Jeff Swenson.
Welcome to the 41st Annual Augsburg College Athletic Hall of Fame Banquet. And thank you for joining us on this very special occasion. Congratulations to all of this year's Hall of Fame inductees. We are proud to be honoring you this evening. We've had a busy homecoming week so far. The annual alumni baseball game was held this past Sunday with a dedication ceremony for the new Parade Stadium dugouts. We had a great pep fest on Monday night. Last night, our women's volleyball team beat St. Olaf in 3 sets. And our women's soccer team beat McAllister 1-0. And by the way, it is okay to applaud anytime you think you should. Tonight's event acts as our official alumni kickoff to homecoming weekend. Our athletic department has been one of continual improvement. I'm proud to announce that currently our fall sports teams have a record of 28-4-4. We have 2 undefeated teams. Football stands at 2-0. The women's soccer team is 7-0-3. Our volleyball team is 14-2, currently ranked for the first time ever, 21st in the country. And our men's soccer team is 5-2-1. I was told today from the MIAC that our fall record in those 4 team sports currently has the best winning percentage in the MIAC. And most importantly, I'm proud to say we have done this while achieving a cumulative grade point average of 3.21. Let's have a round of applause for our amazing student athletes. It's definitely an exciting time to be an Augie. It's now my pleasure to acknowledge a few special groups in attendance. We have several former Augsburg coaches here tonight, and I would like to acknowledge all of you as a group. Will all former head and assistant coaches please stand if you are able? Former coaches? Thank you. You may be seated. Would all current and assistant coaches and all the members of our Augsburg Athletic Department staff please stand? Thank you. It is now my privilege to introduce the distinguished members of Augsburg's Athletic Hall of Fame who are in attendance tonight. Would all former Hall of Famers please stand as a group and be recognized? Please stand. Thank you. That's an impressive group, and you are an inspiration to us all. It's now my pleasure to introduce our president, Dr. Paul Pribenow. Paul is an active supporter of athletics, truly believes that athletics are an essential part of the quality education here at Augsburg. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Dr. Paul Pribenow.
Thank you, Jeff. It's great to be with you in this annual celebration of excellence in Augie athletics. You think Swenson's a little excited? He's having a great fall. We're having a great fall here on campus. Had one of the largest incoming classes in Augsburg's history. 460 new first-year students and over 200 transfer students, so a great entering class. Great weather and great spirit on campus, so it's great to have you here for this homecoming celebration and for this kickoff event. Augie Athletics, in particular this past year, has really stepped up when it comes to our admissions efforts. And I want you to know that this past year, these coaches, assistant coaches, fellows that are part of our athletic staff, went all out to go out and recruit new students. And in fact, our athletic staff, working with our admissions office, were responsible for bringing in more than 250 of the new students this fall. Is that an amazing accomplishment on part of the staff? I want to thank them all for their dedication. I also want you to know that I was talking to one of those coaches last March about some of their recruitment goals, and he looked me in the eye and he said, "You do not disappoint, Swenson." So I believe that we have the right coach in this effort. We're also very proud this year that we've added a new sport. As many of you know, we are in the inaugural season of our women's lacrosse program, which will feature 15 incoming first-year and transfer players, as well as an all-state selection under head coach Catherine Knippenberg. Let's give a round of applause to our newest athletes here. I hope you have a chance to get over to Cy Melby Hall and to the Kennedy Center and see just the continuing improvement that we're making in our athletic facilities. This summer, in particular, if you came onto campus from the freeway, you may have noticed that we have completely resurfaced Edor Nelson Field, bringing the field up to current safety standards and creating a vibrantly branded space for athletic competitions and campus tours. And it's branded in a way that I think is going to be very exciting and very intimidating for visiting teams that are coming in to see us, and that's not a bad thing. It's also the case that that's a field, of course, in which we play at least 3 or 4 different sports, so it's also aligned for football, for soccer, as well as for lacrosse, and of course continues to have the softball field, so perhaps one of the most heavily used fields also in Minnesota. So we're very proud of that, and I hope you'll join us for the football game or for the soccer games here in the next couple of days to celebrate that new field. But perhaps most importantly, our student athletes excel in the classroom and in their venue of competition. Over the last 5 years, Augsburg student athletes have earned academic all-conference honors 234 times, while 6 Augsburg teams received national all-academic team awards, including the Augie wrestling team, which achieved the highest team grade point average in the nation in 2012 among NCAA Division III wrestling programs. So here we are at Augsburg honoring the best of NCAA Division III, the student athlete, and being able to celebrate that. And we're so proud of those that we induct into the Hall of Fame tonight and those that have come before them, because you've set the pathway and you helped to make possible this tradition which our current and future athletes here at Augsburg will be able to enjoy. This year, in addition to inducting 9 remarkable athletes into the Augsburg College Athletic Hall of Fame, we will be presenting 2 Distinguished Service Awards and 2 Excellence in Coaching Awards. It's now my pleasure to introduce the 2013 Distinguished Athletic Service Award winners. This award is given to individuals who have provided significant contributions to the success and advancement of Augie athletics. It has always been a tradition at this event that we sing Pastor Dave Wold's edited version of the Augsburg Augie fight song that recognizes each of the honorees. Keeping with that tradition, before I present Pastor Dave with this award, I'd like to welcome up to the front here the world-famous Bunch of Guys chorus to lead us in this year's version. Well, all the guys, anybody who can sing, anybody that can do anything, come on up here and join us on stage. Pastor Dave, come up, and Howie is going to lead us in this effort. Howie Pearson, very good. got us, Howie? Where's Carol? Yeah, debut.
Okay, Howie asked me to start it. So basically, you'll notice the things that are underlined and in bold, those are the downbeats. So it goes like this. Let all honor Jody and then Naaman, Dave, C, Stan, Ron, and Trudy, Gary, Kate, Paulie, and Emily, coaches Jim, F, and Tom Pete. You got it? Okay. Let's give it a shot. Okay. Let all honor Jody and then Naaman, Dave, C, Stan, Ron, and Trudy, Gary, Kate, Paulie, and Emily, coaches Jim, F, and Tom B, and for service Dave, Dub, and Paul Gower, using gifts in many ways. So tonight we thank and honor each of them and also lift God's name in praise. There's more coming. Each one has made us very proud as Augie, spell it, A-U-G-G-I-E-S. They've inspired us with their ways of living and have passed some real tough tests. Each day they show amazing Augie spirit as they strive to do their best. Spell it A-U-G-G-I-E-S. No finer school from east to west. One more. Tonight we all are grateful to be Augies as we sing to the Most High. And we lift our Augie spirit. Augies thankful till we die. And in the glow of this great Hall of Fame night, no one can ever deny that God's word is true and we're a grateful crew, so let us raise our voices high.
Pastor Dave Wold. When you have fond memories of an Augsburg home athletic event, one of the voices you'll hear in your head is the voice of Pastor Dave Wold. For 3 decades, Pastor Dave has served as the voice of numerous Augsburg athletic events, including football, men's basketball, and wrestling home meets. Since the 1990s, he has led a unique tradition at those events, inviting men in the audience to sing the national anthem in what he called the world-famous Bunch of Guys chorus. The Bunch of Guys have also performed at numerous Augsburg chapel services over the years. A graduate of St. Olaf College, Wold came to Augsburg in 1983, serving as campus pastor until his retirement at the end of the 2012 through 13 school year. He was one of the guiding lights behind Augsburg's immensely popular Advent Vespers services. He has brought many groups to campus through the Augsburg Church Basketball League, has provided spiritual guidance to many Augsburg athletic teams, and has been a friend and spiritual advisor to literally thousands of members of the Augsburg community during the past 30-plus years. Dave and his wife Kathy have 3 children, daughters Becca and Rachel and son Nick, and 9 grandchildren, and live in Arden Hills, Minnesota.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me recognize Pastor Dave Wold, recipient of the 2013 Distinguished Athletic Service Award.
Thanks. Thank you. I think my fall allergies are kicking in here. One morning I was preparing for a chapel sermon and I was shaving while I was thinking of my sermon and I cut my face. And probably someone like Jeff Swenson said, "Next time, Pastor, think about your face and cut your sermon." So it's a little ironic that tonight I'm actually getting rewarded for talking a lot, for exercising as announcer and other things. You know the 3 greatest fears of Americans. Number 1, is to die. Number 2 is to stand up in front of a crowd and give a speech. And number 3 is to die while standing up in front of a crowd giving a speech. So the pressure is on here tonight that I come up with something in 4 minutes. You know, it was really a bit of an accident how I came to Augsburg and into announcing. I never had really thought about being a college pastor until an incident occurred when my kids were quite young. My daughter Rachel was probably 2 or 3, and she made a comment to my wife one night. I was in a job traveling 200 days a year, oftentimes 7 or 8 weeks, not even able to communicate with them. I was behind the wall of East Germany on a special project for 3 or 4 years. She came up to Kathy one night and asked, "Is Daddy coming over tonight?" Well, that was my wake-up call as a father and husband. At the same time, I had been nominated for the college pastor position here at Augsburg. And somehow in God's providence, things came together. Then again, it was somewhat providential that when I came to Augsburg 30 years ago, there was no field. G. Roy and others figured out how to get a field in, probably within a quarter of an inch of NCAA regulation, I'm told. And they needed an announcer. So they first asked me for football. And that led to men's basketball, sometimes women's basketball, and wrestling. You know, it's so great to be at Augsburg. It has been these last 30 years. It was so great to be close to home, even though I was rarely at home. But I could bring our kids to Augsburg for games and concerts, etc. Some talk about balancing their lives. I found that it was much better to blend. My kids all became interested in things that a liberal arts college like Augsburg could offer. And one of the greatest things was athletics. And we would have skating time, parties on the skating rink, and use the facilities and the courts for different things. They'd bring their friends here. And I can tell you that our kids, all 3 kids, were inspired by these athletes. And parenthetically, I should note that my daughter Becca is being inducted into the Gustavus Hall of Fame this year because of the inspiration of many of you athletes. All the kids seem to want to get away from me to go to school or get out of town. So you've met, well, they're in the front row. You can see them later, I guess. I've often been puzzled by how some people get recognized while others who are very deserving never get such an honor. Like in churches where choir members and teachers get special to be installed or recognized, but the person who is on the roof or rooting out the sewer system or in the furnace room probably every day never gets installed or recognized. The Greek word for this is huperetes, the under-rower. He or she is that person in the bowels of the ship that make the ship move, but no one sees them. And we have some incredible human beings rowing this ship at Augsburg that I am forever indebted to. The list is long, but one that certainly heads the list and should be mentioned is Don Stoner. And the coaches who put in so many hours behind the scenes with their recruiting and their preparation that you never see. And the athletic administration, Melody, Kelly, and of course Jeff. I am one of the lucky ones who has gotten to enjoy the ride up on the top deck. And what a ride it has been for me. I have been able to watch some amazing contributions on the fields, on the courts, on the rinks, on the mats, and in the pools, as well as contributions in the concert halls, the theaters, and in so many other corners of this campus and in the community. These people have given me great inspiration, but also great pride to be an Augie with you. You know, I did not go to Augsburg. I went to a school a bit south of here, but I overcame it and became an Augie. Thank you to all who have given me such a great ride. May God go with Augsburg, and may God go with you all.
Paul Grauer. There are few individuals who have touched more lives in the Augsburg athletic community over the past 3 decades than Dr. Paul Grauer. As a coach, an instructor, and an administrator, Paul served the Augsburg community from 1979 until his retirement in 2010. Paul was a two-time All-Conference football player at Concordia University in Nebraska, earning Team MVP and Lutheran All-America Honorable Mention honors in 1964. Prior to coming to Augsburg, he served as a coach and professor at Concordia Junior College in Oregon, Augustana of South Dakota, and Concordia St. Paul. He served as Augsburg's men's and women's track and field coach from 1979 to 1992, coaching athletes who won 8 individual national titles and set 2 NCAA Division III national meet records. He served as Augsburg Sports Information Director for 4 years and as Men's Athletic Director from 1998 to 2007 and as Assistant Athletic Director from 2007 to 2010. He also served as an instructor in the Health and Physical Education Department throughout his Augie years. He served on several MIAC and NCAA committees and was a well-respected member of the Minnesota athletic community. Paul and his wife Judy have 3 sons, Walter, Doug, and Jeff, and are enjoying their retirement in St. Paul.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Paul Grauer, recipient of the 2013 Distinguished Athletic Service Award.
Mary Kay Ash, one of the most prominent female businesswomen, once remarked, "Everybody wants to be appreciated. So if you appreciate someone, don't keep it a secret." Tonight, I have the opportunity to show my appreciation and say thank you to so many people who helped me along the way on my life's path. I'll start with my family, the love of my life, my wife Judy. Thank you for your love, your encouragement all through these years. Meeting you was the best thing that ever happened to me in my life. Thank you. My 3 sons, thank you to Walter, Doug, and Jeff. You have been a source of joy and happiness for Mom and I for a long, long time. And your unvarnished comments about my tennis game and my political opinions has made me a better person. And I say thank you. If you can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with bull. And I remember the first time I heard that as a youngster, that iconic quote from W.C. Fields, I thought to myself, oh, what if I'm not a dazzler and I'm not a baffler? What's left for me in this world? Like most of us here, we know that athletics helps us find out about ourselves, helps us to develop as individuals and find out and reveals parts of ourselves. And for me, that experience came in college, as a junior on the football team. After our homecoming game my junior year, they referred to me as Dependable Paul Grauer. And so I thought, well, I'm not a dazzler. I'm certainly not a baffler, but I can be dependable. And the challenge for a dependable person is you have to surround yourself with really quality people. And that's what I had the opportunity to do here at Augsburg College. And I want to thank a few people as we go through this. I wish I had all day to list names because it would take that long. But I want to start out by saying thank you to G. Roy Carlson. G. Roy is a good friend of mine. I just saw him at last week's football game, had a nice talk with him. G. Roy is an incredible person. If you ever get a chance to meet him, he'd love to talk to you. He's the kind of person who looks for the best in everybody that he encounters. And he's done that in everything he's done here. He was in development. I'll never forget the standing ovation that he got by the faculty when the library was finally funded. And guess who played a key role in that was G. Roy Carlson. He's known as Mr. Augsburg for good reason. So thank you, G. Roy. I'd like to say thank you to some of my retired colleagues, Joyce Paff, Marilyn Florian, Ed Sagestedt, Al Kloppen, and Dick Borstead. Thank you for making it fun to come to work. I'd like to thank all those people in our present athletic department. What a great lineup. Jeff Swenson, thank you for the job that you do year in and year out in moving this athletic program forward in such a fine fashion. Thank you for Melanie Lane, for Mel Lee, for Kelly Anderson-Dirks, and Don Stoner for doing all the things that you do to make this place so special and for events like this. And I'd also like to thank from our HPE department, Eileen Uzarik and Carol Enke. Thank you for keeping me physically active, having all of those challenges to exercise, and for doing that for the entire Augsburg community. That is really awesome. And like I said, I can't thank everybody by name just because we don't have the time, but thank you to all of our outstanding coaches. You were great people to work with, and our student athletes. It's been a real honor and a privilege to work with you and to experience your trials and your triumphs and really have the thrill of that as I worked here. And finally, thank you to the Hall of Fame Committee for this wonderful honor. I certainly do appreciate it. And thank you for all of you for being here this evening. You have made this night very special. Thank you.
Our next award is bestowed to alumni in honor of their excellent success, leadership, and commitment to the positive development of their student athletes and teams. It is now my pleasure to introduce the 2013 Excellence in Coaching Award winners.
Jim Fisher, class of 1970. Our first recipient of the Excellence in Coaching Award, Jim Fisher, has served as a track and field and cross-country coach for more than 30 years. As the director of running programs and track and field and cross-country coach at the University of Delaware from 1982 to 2012, he led the Blue Hens to 5 conference titles and 12 runner-up finishes, earning America East Coach of the Year honors 5 times. In 2013, he was named head coach for the newly instituted co-ed cross-country program at Delaware Technical and Community College. Prior to coming to Delaware, he served as a track and field head coach and football assistant coach at Concordia Moorhead, where he was a part of the Cobbers NAIA National Championship football program in 1981. He also served as an assistant track and field coach at the University of Minnesota. He was inducted into the Concordia Moorhead Athletic Hall of Fame in 2001 as part of the Cobber National Championship football team and was inducted into the Delaware Sports Museum and Hall of Fame in 2012. He has been active in public service, involved with the Special Olympics and Leukemia Society team in training efforts. Jim lives in Newark, Delaware, with his wife Christine and 2 children, Jonathan and Laura.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jim Fisher, class of 1970, recipient of the 2013 Excellence in Coaching Award.
I got my picture up there twice. I want to thank the Hall of Fame Committee for this recognition. I'm honored and humbled. I would like to congratulate the other inductees as well. To be honored by the athletic department was never on my radar. I was an average athlete at best. The thought of being here tonight was only in the capacity of supporting a teammate. I was a math major until my junior year, and then I decided I wanted to go into physical education. I had many mentors here, and although we didn't call them mentors at the time, they were our professors whom we had daily contact with. Mrs. Pete, Joyce, Ruth Ann, Kathy, Howie, Ed, Ernie, Edor, Ron, and G-Roy, guiding us and giving us opportunities to learn and experience. Someone asked me what year I was tonight, and I can answer that by saying we did a workout in track out on I-94 when it was sand. I went on to teach and coach in Robbinsdale School District. I found a great number of outstanding athletes who challenged me, and I really loved it. I moved on to coaching and at the collegiate level for 32 years. My average physical abilities were an advantage and a disadvantage. An advantage in that I knew that work was needed in order to improve, and a disadvantage in that I hadn't experienced the high intensity of high-level training. I had to learn that by working with good athletes. Every day was a classroom for me, and I'm still learning. A big lesson came in one of my first years of coaching at the University of Delaware. I had a great team. The next year I had everybody back. So of course I did the same workouts on the same days as the year before. That year we were not very good at all. I learned a lesson that in the need to individualize and make adjustments on a daily basis. People get very emotional when they are honored. The flood of memories, the thoughts of people, the realization that time passes quickly. There is a wish that it would and could happen all over again. I have thoroughly enjoyed my work each day. I couldn't wait to get into the office. It killed my running, but I got to work with the best people. I haven't reached my goals yet, and I still love working with people. I'm a numbers person. I want to work with the most people I can. I'm not saying that I have all the answers, but I love putting the pieces of the puzzle together. I would like to acknowledge people who came to support me here tonight. My classmates, Sherman, Sandy, many athletes who I haven't seen for decades. Former athletes from Cooper High School, Bob and Jean. A former athlete from the University of Delaware, Aimee Alexander Maldonado. And Bruce Hubbard, he flew all the way out here from Delaware. Sorry. Bruce graduated from Hamlin. Sorry. I won't hold that against him. But anyway, he had a class reunion scheduled for next week, and instead he came this week. My sisters and brothers came. We all graduated from Augsburg. My sister Janet and her husband Ed from Orlando. I always looked up to her and wanted to be like her. Please don't tell her that. One brother, Tom, who lives in Anoka, we played together growing up and had a great time rooming together my senior year at Augsburg. His wife Evie is Evie, and they have two daughters, Molly and Mandy. And my other brother Dick was the best athlete of all of us and ran cross country and track and field here. He was in charge of the program at Augsburg his senior year. His wife is Dina, and they live in Knoxville. I'd like to thank my family for their love and support, my wife Christine, and Jonathan and Laura. I've gone from being the least talented among my siblings to the least intelligent in my family. I have enjoyed working with great high school and collegiate people, great students, watching them grow as individuals, professionals, and athletes. They have turned out to be great friends and alumni. Athletics and activities are part of the educational fabric of all of our lives. We all, every one of us in this room, need to protect those opportunities. Every sport, every activity needs facilities, vocal support, financial support, maybe even legislative support, so people have a chance to compete, to learn, to grow, and to be able to apply discipline, commitment, and enjoyment that sports have provided all of us. Again, thank you for this recognition.
Tang Pham, class of 1997. Our second recipient of the Excellence in Coaching Award began his career as a member of Augsburg's nationally successful wrestling program, competing for 3 seasons. While an Augsburg wrestler, he also served as an assistant volleyball coach under Hall of Fame coach Marilyn Pearson Florian. He was named Augsburg's head coach in 1999 and served as co-head coach with Ryan Donnell in 2000. In 2003, he was named head coach at MIAC rival St. Thomas and has since turned the Tommies into a national power in Division III volleyball. In 11 seasons with the Tommies, his teams have won nearly 300 matches, 7 MIAC titles, and advanced to the NCAA National Tournament 8 times with a winning percentage of nearly 82%. In 2012, the Tommies won the NCAA Division III National Championship, going 40-1 en route to the title, the first for an MIAC school in volleyball. He has earned MIAC Coach of the Year honors 3 times and has coached 5 MIAC Players of the Year, including current Augsburg head coach Jane Becker. Tang and his wife Stephanie have a son, Tay.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tan Pham, class of 1997, recipient of the 2013 Excellence in Coaching Award.
I'm not as tall as the other inductees, so I'll have to move this down. It's hard to believe that 20 years ago, I was a freshman on this campus. And for all the athletes that are out there, try to imagine what your life will be in 20 years. I'm deeply moved and honored and humbled by Augsburg and by this induction. I want to make sure that everyone knows I'm proud to be an Augie. Okay? Even though I'm at St. Thomas, I am proud to be an Augie. There are many people that I need to thank, and first off, Marilyn Florian. She taught me so much about the game and gave me my first chance at coaching collegiately, and for that, I'm ever thankful. I'd also like to thank Jeff Swenson. As a student here, I worked for Jeff, and I wrestled for him. He taught me several things that translate to volleyball. First, this ain't a discount house. He'd always tell us that. This ain't a discount house. You got to pay the full price. So there's no substitute for hard work, and we translate that to practice, and we try to make sure that our girls know that. We try to improve 1% each day. I remember when Lute Olson was inducted into the Augsburg Hall of Fame, and he said something that has always stuck with me. He said, athletes are either getting better or they're getting worse. Nobody stays the same. Third, he taught me to surround myself with hardworking and smart, fun assistants. People like Scott Worley, Don Wickman, Mike Pfeffer, and Nick Fornicoya always cared about us as athletes and as people. Jeff also taught me to pursue excellence. If you're going to do something, do it to the best of your ability. But one of the biggest lessons that Jeff taught me was intensity with composure is a winning combination, and you have to pay attention to details. He never lost his cool around us athletes. An example of that was when I was working for him and I had to run to Kinko's in Dinkytown. It was over the 3 to 6 p.m. period, and little did I know that they towed during that time. Swens had just gotten a brand new emerald green Camry, and I had just gotten it towed. I thought I was a dead man, but he showed great compassion and didn't even dock my work study check. So now I pay attention to the little details. I'd also like to thank Steve Fritz and Joanne Andrag, who are the ADs at St. Thomas and hired me to lead the program. I'd also like to thank my team and my assistant coaches who are here today. You guys are some of my best friends, and I love hanging out with you, and I'm very lucky to have you on staff. My team, they're one of the few groups that I just love spending time with every day. The composure they showed during the 2012 finals was awesome. It was the largest crowd ever to watch a Division III volleyball match. There were 3,517 people there. St. Thomas had 60. And that's a generous estimate. The composure and grit and belief they showed was amazing. I'd also like to thank my parents. They had to make a tough decision in 1975 to come here to America. They were just 28 years old, traveling with 3 children and with 1 on the way. They left property, family, and everything they knew to give their children a better chance at life. 2012 was a big year for us. Besides winning a national title, my wife and I adopted a beautiful 2-year-old from South Korea. I'd like to thank my wife, Stephanie, for all that she has done to make all my dreams come true and supporting me in my career. I love you. Lastly, I'd like to congratulate the Augie volleyball team on being the first team ranked ever in the top 25 in school history. And congrats to Jane Becker for getting in there. She is a huge reason why I'm coaching instead of teaching. She was a senior at St. Thomas when the job was open, and she kind of emailed me and asked me to apply, and without her push and shove, I don't think I would have. I'm looking forward to doing battle here at Cy Melby Hall on October 16th. So we invite all the student athletes to make sure that's a great attended game. And again, thank you for this honor.
And now it's my pleasure to introduce the 2013 Augsburg Athletic Hall of Fame inductees. These alumni are being recognized for their outstanding athletic achievement, leadership, character, and commitment to Augsburg College.
Dave Carlson, class of 1993. Dave Carlson was one of the best guards in Augsburg men's basketball history, earning All-MIAC honors 3 times while finishing his career with 1,540 points, the 4th most in school history. He averaged 15.6 points per game in 99 career games, the 10th best scoring average in school history. He averaged 16 or more points per game in 3 of his 4 seasons, including a career best 17 points per game average in his senior year. He finished his career in the top 10 in 8 career categories, 4th in career assists, 5th in field goal attempts, 6th in field goals made, 8th in three-pointers made, 10th in free throw attempts, and 10th in steals. He was an NCAA Division III All-West District selection his senior season. A psychology major at Augsburg, he earned academic All-MIAC honors his junior and senior years and was selected as the 1993 Co-Senior Honor Athlete. Dave is unable to attend tonight's ceremony, but we congratulate him on his Augsburg Athletic Hall of Fame career.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me recognize Dave Carlson, class of 1993, inductee into the 2013 Augsburg Athletic Hall of Fame. We're very proud to honor his athletic accomplishments.
Stan DeAndrea, class of 1983. Stan DeAndrea was an All-American and conference champion wrestler at Augsburg in the early 1980s. He won MIAC championships at 126 pounds in both 1982 and 1983, and earned NAIA All-America honors in 1983, finishing 4th nationally in his weight class. He was part of Augie squads that broke into the top 10 in national competition, finishing 5th in 1981, 7th in 1982, and 3rd in both NAIA and NCAA Division III competition in 1983. He was also part of 3 MIAC championship teams in his Augie career. A mathematics major, he earned NWCA Scholar All-America honors in 1983. After earning his bachelor's degree at Augsburg, he earned his doctorate in chemistry in 1988 from Colorado State University and entered into a 22-year career as a chemist and principal scientist at Bristol Myers Squibb. He is currently a private investor in biotechnology stocks. Stan and his wife Susan have 4 children, Melissa, Rachel, Zachary, and Alexa, and live in Wallingford, Connecticut.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Stan DeAndrea, class of 1983, inductee into the 2013 Augsburg Athletic Hall of Fame.
Thank you. I have to say that when I got the call from Jeff Swenson, it was like a call from another universe because it's been 30 years since I've been here. And it was pretty strange. I had my last match or so, and I hung up the wrestling shoes, and I thought, you know, this is it, I'm done. But, you know, life has a strange way of dragging you back out onto the mat, whether it was, you know, graduate school or a job thing or a personal crisis. It felt kind of the same, you know, the room started spinning and I heard people yelling stuff at me, things I should do or not do, and kind of felt that oxygen deprivation, and it was very much the same as a very high-stress championship match or something. And I have to say that my experience here at Augsburg turned out to be really crucial. My wrestling experience. It's, you know, you might think, well, why spend all this time at a sport, wrestling, you know, when GPAs mean so much and all this stuff? But what I discovered after 30 years was that I probably learned more in the wrestling program than I did in a lot of my academic classes. It's just that you get in these high pressure situations, and it's very much, you know, like being in the spotlight in a championship match, and you know, you can't choke, you have to show some poise, you have to remember the things you've learned, your skills. You have to learn to use your cunning and your strength, and all these things that you really don't get hands-on experience in a classroom. And you know, I questioned this even when I wrestled in college, like, why am I spending all this time doing this? And it's funny how the answers to that question change over time, but I now believe it's probably one of the most important things I ever did in college. And I want to thank all my coaches, I guess John Gregelko first, and then Jeff Swenson, and some assistant coaches like Brian Arvold and Scott Worley. I'd like to thank my roommates who really kept me going through all these years, and they're all in attendance today. And I'd like to thank the Augsburg College and the Hall of Fame committee. And I really can't believe that I'm standing up here. And luckily, with the glare of the lights, I can't actually tell how many people are here, or I'd probably be choking. But I want to thank you for this great honor. And I want to thank my wife also for being brave enough to come here and experience this part of my life that she knew nothing about. So thank you very much.
Ron Eggerichs, class of 1988. Ron Eggerichs was a key member of Augie squads in both men's hockey and baseball during the mid-1980s. In men's hockey, he finished his career with 57 goals and 74 assists for 131 points, including 20 power play goals. His career totals are in the top 20 in each category in school history. He was the MIAC's scoring champion in the 1986 through 87 season, the first of his 2 All-MIAC first-team honors. He was a 2-year captain, team MVP as a sophomore, and a 2-time conference player of the week. In baseball, he was an outfielder on Augsburg squads that earned trips to the NCAA Division III National Tournament in both 1986 and 1987, winning the MIAC championship in '87. He earned his bachelor's degree in business management from Augsburg in 1988 and went into business with his father and brother manufacturing motorcycle windshields, which he continues today. He's also coached youth baseball and hockey in the Blaine area for the past 18 years. Ron and his wife, Wendy, have 4 children, Michael, Luke, Brett, and Marissa, and live in Ham Lake, Minnesota.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ron Eggerichs, class of 1988, inductee into the 2013 Hall of Fame.
I didn't sweat this much when I was playing. I'm truly humbled to be here tonight. This honor I never expected, and it's just an honor to be even mentioned with the great athletes here at Augsburg. I'd like to thank the A Club and the Hall of Fame committee for this selection. You know, I was always a believer in setting goals for myself and then setting out to accomplish those goals. Making the Hall of Fame, I never even considered. I never looked beyond the next game or the next season, let alone 25 years into the future. You know, I sat out in the audience 25 years ago, just like you people up there, and I listened to the speakers, the pride in their voices, the emotion they showed, and I just loved listening to them. I stand up here now, 25 years later, not as energetic, not the same athlete. Things have passed by, and now I get where they were coming from. When rewriting my speech for the 7th time this morning, by the way, I started thinking about the people and circumstances that got me to this podium. Family, youth coaches, teammates, friends, kids in the neighborhood I grew up playing with, my girlfriend, who is now my wife. Then it hit me. One person got me here, Pete Poss. I met Pete during walk-on tryouts up at UMD a long time ago. We became friends right away. I was fortunate enough to make the team up there, but Pete wasn't. Pete decided he was going to finish out the trimester and then transfer down to the cities and play somewhere in the MIAC. Over the next 6 weeks at UMD, I had practiced but never suited for a game. A few days before the end of the trimester, I talked to my parents and decided I was going to transfer along with Pete. I just wanted to play hockey and go to school, and hockey wasn't going to happen for me at UMD. With no idea what we were going to do or where we were going, me and Pete jumped in the car and drove down to the cities. Our first stop, Bethel. We stopped in to see the coach. He wasn't in. Thank God. Pete says, hey, let's run by Augsburg. I got a buddy that goes there. So we did. We walked into the athletic office, and the first person I ran into was Jim Finch. Jim's a Hall of Famer here at Augsburg. He also went to my high school and was a friend of my older sister. We talked to Jim for a while, and he took us down to meet Ed Saugestad. And we were sold. We had to play for this guy. 2 idiots, directed by fate, and here I am. I truly believe everything in life happens for a reason, and if it wasn't for Pete, I wouldn't be here at Augsburg, and I wouldn't be here today. I have so many great memories from my days here, many from hockey, many from baseball, many from blondies, and many just from the everyday college experiences. What I valued most, though, are the teams that I played on and the friends that I made. Sports have always been an important part of my life, and the coaches that I had, along with the experiences that I went through, have shaped me into the husband, father, and coach that I am today. The bonds you create with teammates in the heat of battle, on the field or on the ice, they stay with you for the rest of your life. When I came to Augsburg, I planned on pursuing a business degree and playing hockey. I thought my baseball days were behind me. After finding out I was ineligible to play because I had transferred, I was walking through the gym one day from the arena. They were holding baseball tryouts. I saw a buddy of mine, talk to him, and he took me over to meet Ron Petrich. The next day, I was at tryouts. I was lucky enough to make the team and play 4 years in the outfield for the Augies. And what an incredible 4 years it turned out to be. We had 4 winning seasons, improving each year. My junior year, we made it to the Nationals, and my senior year, we won the MIAC title and also qualified for the Nationals. Ron Petrich was named Coach of the Year that year, and he earned every bit of it. We had a real cast of characters on those teams, and Ron was the perfect coach. He was laid back, he liked to have fun, and he let everybody be the goof off that they really were. This allowed everybody to be their best. His leadership style led us to all that success. Looking over the past Hall of Fame inductees, some of them here tonight that I got to see, which was cool, I counted 10 names of players that I played with in the 4 years I was here playing baseball. That's incredible, and it's a testament to Coach Petrich. Thank you, Ron, for giving me the opportunity and all you did for me and our teams. Hockey, that didn't go so well. I came here following 3 national championships and a team that went to the Final Four the year I was ineligible. I think I was the beginning of the end. 4 years of not making the playoffs. I had a lot of individual success, but I would have traded it all for just 1 national championship. In spite of our losing, it was the best and most enjoyable time I ever had playing hockey. Dallas Miller, Paul Norman, Steve Letty, Pete Poss, and I came to Augsburg as total strangers. We became friends, roommates, we battled together, we celebrated together, we pouted together, and we became lifelong friends. Playing on a line with Dallas Miller and Paul Norman was truly an honor. For 3 years, we were the highest scoring line in the MIAC. We complemented each other perfectly. Dallas was the most talented player I'd ever seen. He's also in the Hall of Fame here, and he was a two-time All-American and league MVP. Paul, he was the workhorse. He brought intensity like you've never seen. And together, they just took me along for the ride. By far, the best part of playing at Augsburg, though, was playing for Ed Saugestad. Ed is a legend, and next to my dad, the greatest man I've ever met. His character, his demeanor, his compassion, they're unmatched by anyone. He truly cared about you. He knew your family, he knew your major, he knew your grades, he knew if you were in trouble, and if you ever needed anything, he was always there to help. Most people don't know this about Ed unless you played for him. He couldn't skate. First time I stepped onto the ice, knowing about the legend Ed Saugestad, I couldn't believe it. Ed didn't need to skate. He knew the game. He knew how to motivate you. He was the king of reverse psychology. You never knew what he was going to say. Every person Ed ever coached has a million Ed stories and a great Ed impression. Ed, thank you for everything. You touched my life more than you will ever know. I know Mary's here tonight. Please let him know how I feel. Lastly, I'd like to thank my family, my dad Bob, my mom Sharon, and my sister-in-law Colleen for being here tonight, my brother Bob and sisters Julie and Janet who couldn't be here tonight, my 4 kids, Michael, Luke, Brett, and Marissa, who I'm so proud of and love so much. And finally, a special thank you to my beautiful wife Wendy, who's been a part of my life since we were in 10th grade. We've been married for 24 years, and I love her more every day. She is truly my greatest success. I want to thank everybody here for this great honor. And on one last note, my friend Pete, he passed away 5 years ago. Thanks for being my friend. God bless.
Paul Elliott, class of 1983. Paul Elliott accomplished much as a defensive end for the Augsburg football team in the early 1980s. Paul earned COSIDA Academic All-America honors in 1981, the first Augsburg student-athlete ever to earn the prestigious honor. He was an Academic All-NAIA District 13 selection in both 1980 and 1981. He started every game for the Augies through his 4-year career and was a team captain in 1982. A summa cum laude graduate from Augsburg with a major in business and marketing, Paul embarked on a career journey that took him from Omaha to Minnesota, then to Tampa and back to Minnesota, and currently in St. Louis in management roles ranging from retail to car rental, cosmetic sales, office building consulting, direct mail, entrepreneurship and IT project consulting, horse ranch ownership, and the healthcare industry. Along the way, he served as a charter president for Special Olympics Minnesota and as a youth baseball and soccer coach. Paul currently lives in St. Charles, Missouri.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Paul Elliott, class of 1983, inductee into the 2013 Augsburg Athletic Hall of Fame.
Oh, there's some old pictures in there. Wow. Elliot, what the Sam Hill are you doing out there? That's for you, Jack. Coach Augsburg didn't swear, but he got his message across. And he did so in a way that was not belittling and made you want to do even better on the field. Steve Jobs also has been quoted as saying, you cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect the dots of your life looking backwards. And as I was thinking about this induction and this honor and the speech tonight, I decided I'd look back and see where some of those dots really came from that I believe wholeheartedly is the reasons why I'm here today. So the first one goes way back to junior high school. These are all related to coaches that I've had. And Mom, you might remember this little event, but junior high school, dance at the high school or at the junior high school, hockey practice, dance, hockey practice. Oh, what do I do? I went to the dance, and unfortunately I had my mom call the coach and say I wasn't going to be there. And the next practice, Coach Ken Searsland came up to me, put his arm around my shoulder, and just said, Paul, either you're a party dude or you're an athlete, you cannot be both. And just a very simple message that rang true for me at that point in my life, because it was like, you know, practice is boring, I want to go do this other stuff. The second one was take you to sophomore in high school football, and I loved playing linebacker, and either because I couldn't see very well and or I was too slow, but both I think was the answer. Coach Keith Schaefer came up to me and said, you know, Paul, I think you can really help the team and be a key instrumental player by moving over to defensive end. And that was a tough one for me too, but he was supportive in that, and he explained why. And again, very pivotal for me, because the experience I gained in playing that position in high school allowed me to come to Augsburg and start those 4 years even as a freshman and then being captain of the team. So hugely pivotal for me in my career in athletics. And then at Augsburg, you know, Coach Augsburg was very instrumental in different ways. I mentioned one earlier, just his motivation tactics that he had. But what I also learned from Jack at that point was fellowship. We had a fellowship program that we would get together, the teammates would get together before the football game, and we'd talk about life, not football. And it was the first time we've really done that, and it was very, very instrumental for me to know that there was something beyond football at that point in time. What Jack also helped the team and me realize is that life happens and things happen in life. And he opened up and was very vulnerable in explaining some of the difficulties in his life. And that was truly instrumental for me to know that there's other things out there and we need to be prepared for those. And the last piece that Jack taught was focus and tenacity and hard work. And those obviously were very instrumental in my life and continue to be so. So it takes a lot. We've heard the theme from the speakers tonight, and it is true. It's just not me. And for the student athletes that are here tonight, first of all, thank you for showing up. It's great. Those things do matter. And you might say, geez, that's 25, 30 years from now. But you will also see that that's the case. But where's Stan? So we graduated the same year, right? 83? Yeah, so how come I got the gray hair? I don't get that. I was thinking about that when you were up here. I'm like, man, what's going on here? But before I close, I do want to recognize the folks that are here tonight. From my immediate family, my mom and dad are here. Thanks, Mom and Dad, for showing up for the games consistently, cold weather, warm weather, whatever it was. You're very, very supportive in my efforts there and helping me go to and attend Augsburg College. My brother Tom is here. Tom, thanks so much for coming out tonight and sharing this with me as well. My son Chase flew up from Scottsdale. He's here tonight to help out with the celebration. And my darling Linda, first time to Minnesota. Thanks for braving meeting the family, coming to Minnesota, although you do need to come back in January. And Nina Augsburg is here. I haven't seen her in a while. Nina and Coach Grauer as well. Very, very supportive during my career at Augsburg in just having conversations with them. Very, 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 very good buddy, Jim Sarkowski. We met when we were freshmen on the football team and became good friends, lived together for a number of years here at Augsburg, and have just been lifelong buddies in helping each other through the trials, tribulations, and successes and celebrations of life. And Norm Okerstrom, thanks buddy for coming out I know you didn't really have to, but you've been a strong supporter of Augsburg, and we played we played in my senior year. He was a freshman, and I knew him in high school as well. So I really appreciate you coming out. But I'm very, very humbled. I'm very, very honored. It was a surprise when I received the phone call from Coach Augsburg as well, and not something that was on my radar as well. And I'm just truly grateful for the opportunity to have attended Augsburg, to have obtained the education, and the opportunity to be here tonight. Thank you.
Trudy Fairbanks, class of 1985. Trudy Fairbanks occupies many places in Augsburg women's basketball record books. In her 3 seasons as an Augie after transferring from Anoka Ramsey Community College, Trudy finished with 863 career points, the 12th most in school history. Her 12.3 career points per game average is 5th best in school history, and she holds the school record with 236 steals. She appears in numerous other career record categories, and she also holds the top 2 single-season steals totals in school history. Her 11 steals in a 1984 game against Carleton remains the MIAC's and Augsburg's single-game steals record, and her 34 points in the same game is the second most in a single game in school history. She earned all MIAC honors twice in women's basketball and also spent 1 season as a starter on the Augsburg softball team. She earned her degree in physical education and elementary ed from Augsburg in 1985. She was a physical education teacher for many years and currently teaches 3rd grade in Rosemount. She has 2 daughters, Cassie, an Augsburg graduate, and Chelsea, an Augsburg student, and she currently lives in Lakeville, Minnesota.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Trudy Fairbanks, inductee into the 2013 Augsburg Athletic Hall of Fame.
Wow, it is very bright up here. Can't even read it. First of all, I'd like to start off by saying thank you to the Hall of Fame committee, my family, friends, alumni, and the current Augie players that are here tonight recognizing all of us. It is indeed a great honor. I have so many fond memories while attending Augsburg College and thoroughly enjoyed not only my professors, but also the lasting friendships and the opportunity to play not only the sport I love, which is basketball, but also to play fast pitch softball. As you heard, I played for 1 year. Mary Timms, who was the coach back then, said, Trudy, you know, I played. She goes, Trudy, I'm in a bad mood. Go slide to second base. We all need a laugh. That was me. I figured, I ran track in high school, so I figured, well, why slide if you're quick enough to get there? You know, why worry about that? But apparently they send you when you're not quite gonna make it. Although I do not feel worthy about standing in front of all you tonight to receive this great honor, I graciously accept it for my fellow teammates who made it possible for me to succeed. A special thanks to my parents who have supported me in all that I do. They have been my biggest supporters through high school and college sports, and in those years of playing, have missed only a handful of games. There were some pretty lean years in there too, so you have to give them credit for that. As Mom always said, patience is a mighty virtue. My daughters, Cassie and Chelsea, allowed me to coach and watch them play youth, high school, and Augsburg sports. The Augsburg tradition continues as both my daughters are Augies as well. What a treat that is for me. Cassie graduated in 2012 with an accounting degree and played fast pitch, while Chelsea is a freshman this year and plays on the golf team. Thanks for the fun, girls. Sports became such a big part of my life that I decided to pursue a teaching degree in elementary physical education. This allowed me to foster the same love and passion I have of sports, which started as a child and definitely grew here at Augsburg, to the youth of today. I currently teach 3rd grade, but the lessons that I learned on the court and in the field are the ones that I teach my students today. I so much appreciate the opportunities that Augsburg gave me. Some of my best friends are my teammates and classmates from Augsburg so many years ago. One special year, Marilyn, you know this, we nicknamed our basketball team the Seven Dwarfs. Obviously, it was a good name for us because we only had 7 players. And it's very sad, but our coach was the tallest player. So even before our games, our home games, we played the Hi-Ho song for the theme of the Seven Dwarfs. Our parents stood up, they were proud, they're doing the whole thing. We stopped, the other team thought we were nuts. But we still did it because, as you've heard up here, it's part of the fun as well. The team of 7 players I talked about, the Seven Dwarfs, ironically, we all had a ton of talent. Of those 7 players, 2 of them are already in the Hall of Fame, and I'm the 3rd one. So I'm waiting for the other 2 to get in here as well. The majority of the team I am still in contact with today. Dopey and Sleepy are my best friends to this day, and I still catch up with Happy and Sneezy as well. I was late coming into the locker room for that conversation when you picked names, so I got grumpy. Really? Come on. I don't think that was right. We all know that life itself is a team sport, and I could not have handpicked a better team to give me the foundation required to succeed than Augsburg College. I will proudly display the Augsburg Hall of Fame plaque and will laughingly enjoy hearing from some of my old Augsburg teammates who are not as yet in the Hall of Fame about how Augsburg must have made a mistake and confused me with them. Thank you very much for this honor. I truly appreciate it.
Emily Miller, class of 2000. Emily Miller was an outstanding 2-sport athlete at Augsburg, excelling on both the women's hockey and softball teams. As a defender in hockey, Emily was a 4-year star, earning all MIAC first-team honors in her junior and senior seasons, years that Augsburg won the first 2 MIAC women's hockey championships. She was named to the AWHCA Division III All-America second team in her senior year when the Augies advanced to the first Division III national tournament in 2000. In 65 games against varsity opponents, she finished with 17 goals